trade surplus with Europe was almost 32 billion euros in a single month. That is enormous fiscal firepower that Beijing can really use. They can redeploy that into building a global bond market and compete head to head with Washington. Now, China is selling bonds in euros to absorb global capital. That is the end goal. Plus, they have essentially unlimited capacity to pay back bondholders back because of their massive foreign currency surplus every single month. Now, this is a patient campaign to chip away at US financial market dominance, one issuance at a time. And the demand signal cannot be dismissed. China tried to raise 5 billion, but they received 30 billion in orders. And when the world's institutional investors, they show up 6 times with the money you're asking for, you're not really begging for capital, you're rationing it. This reality is clearly not lost on Bassett. Now, he has been appearing on TV more frequently, trying to convince the world that major oil producing nations are returning to the US dollar system. He's trying to sell us the dream that dollar dominance is being reasserted. And that desperation tells you how really worried he is under the surface.
That Russia will want to come back in the dollar system because, again, the dollar, it's our liquidity, it's our capital markets, it's the depth and breadth. Everyone wants to be here. We should not be shy about flexing where we have advantages, and where we have advantages, share with our allies and push back.
But China's Eurobond strategy is only one lever being pulled. Now, China can also deploy their massive accumulated stockpile of US dollars as a financial weapon in their own right. Now, back in November 2025, China issued bonds denominated in US dollars directly, and they sold approximately 4 billion worth of dollar denominated Chinese government debt into global markets. And demand was so big that China was able to borrow at a rate of only 0.02 percentage points above US Treasuries themselves. And let that sink in for a moment. Global investors, they trusted China's ability to pay back at essentially the exact same level as the United States government, which is the issuer of the world's reserve currency. This is insane. This is a stunning vote of confidence in Chinese sovereign debt from the global investment community. Now, this is really nightmarish for the US in the current inflation environment. Now, core PCE inflation has been rising consistently since Trump took office, and the Hormuz crisis really made everything dramatically worse. The US has been running above their own 2% inflation target for 5 consecutive years and counting. So the Federal Reserve is going to be forced to hike rates at some point sooner or later. And the cruel irony is that because of higher US inflation, American consumers and business, they're going to become even more dependent on China for affordable products. In May alone, Chinese shipments to the US jumped by a credible 35.4% compared to a year ago, which means China's accumulated dollar surplus from trade with the US itself is actively growing. China has more dollars every month to deploy into building their own competing financial sector. Now, China is sitting on a growing mountain of dollars and euros, and that means
hello, and thanks for joining us live here on EATV. I'm Guy Mowbray. Alongside me is the former England striker Sue Smith, and today we bring you all the action from Champions. What are we going to get from this one, Sue?
It's a real pleasure to be here. It's been buzzing ahead of kick-off. Let's hope the football lives up to the atmosphere.
China's official central bank things has been increasing, especially during the recent periods when gold prices have been dropping. The People's Bank of China bought almost 10 tons of gold in May alone, and despite the recent price drop, gold
Ref's whistle blows and the battle begins. This Champions match is underway.
And that percentage is only going in one direction. It's going up.
Here's how Spartans line up today. Gianluigi Donnarumma is in goal. Federico Valverde plays alongside Sergio Busquets in the centre of the park, and they'll play with a lone striker up front. The defence quick to snatch it back. This is how the visitors start the game. Iker Casillas starts in goal. Blaise Matuidi plays alongside Rodri in the middle of the park, and they decided for this one to play with two in attack.
From the central bank all the way down to individual savers. Now, even if US bond yields
And the flag goes up for offside.
It's sloppy, isn't it? Just needs to hold on to it a little longer. Give him time to get back on side.
They don't want to open Pandora's box
Dembele.
all over again. Those bonds could get confiscated or frozen the way Russian assets work.
Chance
The
for the lead.
underlying US debt problem
A wild effort,
Are you
have to say,
serious?
and probably the less said about it, the better.
The idea of holding US
Closed
bonds
it down
has
well.
fundamentally changed for the
Yeah, he was
Chinese.
certainly on that in a
Now,
flash,
China's
wasn't he?
gold mine program is also
Yamal.
not going to stop or slow down regardless of what
Gets passed
does
really nicely.
to manage gold prices in the short
Oh,
term.
real opportunity. It's one.
Are you serious?
First blow
Oh my
very
God,
early.
bro.
And they are making it very difficult
So it's
for
1-0
Chinese
as the
domestic
ball gets
capital
rolling again.
to exit the country. So loans to Hong Kong, they might end up invested in US stocks and
Yamal.
bonds, and China doesn't want that to continue. In
Frimpong.
2025, China saw capital outflows of
Lamine
approximately
Yamal.
$1 trillion leave the
Waiting
country.
for the moment to get
Beijing
through.
is not actively clamping down on every channel through which the capital was escaping. They want the money flowing back
Yamal.
to Chinese companies, industries, Chinese
Now a
domestic
sense that
bonds,
something could
and
happen from
gold.
this.
This is
But that's
economic
where
warfare
any
being
chance of
conducted
anything
by
developing
financial
disappears.
architecture rather than military force. And Trump is
Promising
doing
position, this.
everything possible to drop up
Could be
demand
all
for US
square here.
assets.
And the
through
threat has
constant
gone with the
messaging.
keeper in
He's
control.
trying to pipe up investors to buy US stocks.
Pele.
You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will
Sergio
be
Busquets.
like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. That's a very important element of all of this. You know, if we get
Now, the bond market is under
Blaise
tremendous
Matuidi.
economic pressure from multiple
Intercepted.
directions.
Great reading of
Not
the game.
just from domestic inflation and the threat of Fed rate hikes, but
Pele.
from without as well.
Dembele.
China is withdrawing demand from the
Oh,
outside.
Elastic's
Now,
tackle
Besson
clears
is
it away.
admitting that the dollar system is in trouble, and that's just the opening admission of
Zico.
what's going to come. As China continues exporting more goods
Genuine
globally
chance.
and
And
protecting
it's
their
in.
own
The
human
goal to
capital,
get us back to level
demand for
pegging.
US bonds and demand for US assets is going to get
Chouameni.
hammered. Now, China's M2 money supply has
Into
now reached
Valverde.
240% of GDP.
Now there could be
And
something
this
on
money
in a
is
moment.
practically trapped inside China's own
But
financial
able to
system
deal
right
with the
now.
danger
And
decisively.
if
Well
Beijing
defended.
maintains their capital control and
Really
refuses
nicely
to
played.
allow
What can they
that
do with
money
this now?
to flow the US assets, the Chinese bid for gold is not going to stop. It's actually
That is where
going
it
to
ends.
accelerate significantly
I've been
from
impressed
here.
with how they've closed
So let me know
down
what
and
you think
stopped
in the
attacks
comments
quickly.
below. Will China
Martin
keep issuing
Odegaard.
dollar and euro bonds to grab demand
Ronaldo.
away from US treasuries? And will this drive
Zico.
even more Chinese
And they have the
money
lead.
into physical
Only
goods?
moments ago
Let me
they
know
were
what you think.
behind.
Stay safe.
Strap
Smash the like
yourselves
button
in.
and subscribe.
We've got
As
one
we
heck of a
navigate
game to
through
enjoy.
these crazy times.
Federico Valverde.
Let's get to work on a life you love.
Sergio Busquets.
Go with someone you can trust.
Oh, that's really well cut out.
my new evil phone company will have the most confusing pricing in
Sergio Busquets.
Who would join that? With Verizon, you can get the new Simplicity plan for only
Promising
$30
move
a line.
stalls.
Zip it! Introducing Simplicity, just $30 a line.
Dembele. Busquets. Pele! Brilliant tackle. The chance is gone.
Oh, I thought they were in there. Shut that down well.
Weighted beautifully. This time, it's offside. And that will be that. Busquets. The Spartans with acres of space to attack. They could level it here. And the attack breaks down. Lovely, incisive ball. But nothing will come from it thanks to some astute defending. Busquets. Onto Dembele. He's beaten his marker here. Well, he wouldn't let him get away that easily. Sergio Busquets. Ousmane Dembele. Here they go. This could be. Has to be. In it goes. Level once again. What a game this is turning out to be. And so we're back underway after another twist in the tail. Van Dijk. Lamine Yamal. Sergio Busquets. Oh, brilliant anticipation. And that's going to be it for the first 45 minutes.
Now imagine you are a parent and you are just chilling at home and your child walks in there. The two most sophisticated military. So one of the most infamous gang wars in LA history has just been reignited recently, and we've seen some pretty messed up videos over the last couple days of members of each side of this gang going to war with each other, popping up at each other's place of business, beatings in the street. I'm very, very, very unsurprised if this results in murders very, very soon. Now, this is very interesting because for many years, the Bloods and the Crips in LA didn't really beef. You had the Crips beefing with the Hoovers who wear orange. Bloods have got a lot of issues with different Mexican hoods, Mexican mafia, things like that. But we're now seeing a Bloods and Crip gang war be reignited, and it's two of the most famous sets in all of LA history. So this is the area here of the Inglewood family gangster Bloods, okay? It's quite a big area. They be running Inglewood.
Little to
but up
choose
here on the
between the
northern
two
border,
sides as we start the
okay,
second half.
is the rolling 60s neighborhood Crips. Alright, so they share a border along West Florence Avenue up here in the
That's
north.
where it ends.
And what's really
Well,
interesting
nice approach, wasn't it? But the
is that
final
the Inglewood
ball just
families, they got a
wasn't
border
there.
here with the A-Tray
That's
Gangster
more than
Crips. They also
comfortable
got a border
for the
here with
man
the
in
Rolling
goal.
90s Crips. There's the West Side Avenue Pyro Gang in the
Rafinha.
south. Okay,
Oh, the
allied with
beautiful game,
the
very
Inglewood
much on
family,
display.
the Bloods, the West Cranshaw Mafia Gangster Bloods here. But what's very, very interesting is that there's a
Rodri.
big territory here that you would have thought would have been a straight
All
blood
one,
hood.
well read.
But now this area of town is banging straight SoFi, alright? Because this is where the SoFi
Busquets.
Stadium is. This is where the World Cup's going on, alright? They
Rafinha.
banging stadium gang, alright? They banging neighborhood SoFi, 80,000 members,
Martin
alright?
Odegaard.
On a good day. And you know what's really crazy? It's actually ironic. I went to see the World Cup the other day. I went to see the Bosnia match. And the Bosnian fans were rolling so deep. They were saying they'd never seen this much blue in Inglewood before, okay? The Bosnian fans were
It's
rolling
put into
through
the middle.
Inglewood. I don't know how the locals would have felt about this because all
Well, it
of the
comes
blue
to nothing in the end.
The red team, the B team,
Oh, that was
they
a
ain't seen this many
wonderful
people
chance,
wearing
and
blue
it
shirts
surely
in
had
their
to be
neighborhood.
at
They
least
thought it
on
was about to
target.
be over with. It was an invasion of the Crips. But really, these are Bosnian soccer fans, all right? So,
Yamal.
you know, hold your horses, folks. But this actually blew a lot of people's mind. I went and actually
Good
watched this
work to
soccer
beat
game
the
the other day,
challenge.
and it was
And
lit. I
it's
really
on
enjoyed
now.
myself.
A
Even though
goal
Bosnia
that
got
gives
smoked.
them the advantage. The game kicks off with the score now 3-2. Federico Valverde. Now there could be an opportunity to counter. They need to get bodies back. And they've levelled it up. Nothing to split them once more.
All right, by Switzerland. But anyway, as you can see, this is a very
Valverde.
serious beef, and this north-south divide between, you know, the Roller
Moving
60
the ball
neighbours of
forward,
Crips
hoping
and the
something
Inglewood
might
families
open
is
up.
very, very serious. I'll give you a little bit of
And that's a
backstory
shame
on each
for
of
them.
these from
Nothing
this
doing.
infamous gang map. Also known as the CMT Boys or Chain Gang, the Inglewood family gangster
Pushing
Bloods
forward,
are the
now to
largest
make
gang
the
in
right
Inglewood, with
choice.
plates on 77th, 80th, 92nd,
Oh, good
94th,
defending,
and Market
just when
Street,
it was
Harbour
looking
Village
threatening.
Bloods, the ABB. But since they and the CPFGB are considered the same
Perfect,
gang,
Brendan
you could say they have
Greenwald.
plates on
Oh, look at
64th,
this.
65th, and
It's the
68th.
sort of
Inglewood
finish
family
you
gangster
can
Bloods
only
often
smile
reviewed
about.
as the
Saw the
premier
keeper
blood
off the
gang
line
in both
to
Inglewood
score a
and
goal
Los
of
Angeles
true
County,
quality.
and highly
Incredible.
disliked among most Crip gangs in LA, especially the neighborhood
Another
Crips,
goal means another kick-off
and the
at 4-3 now.
BC gangs They're allied with the NHP, the APG, and the 8 Trey Gangster Crips. Since they all beef with the rolling 60s, the rolling 90s, and the 100s, and the rest of the block Crip neighborhood Crip cards. Other feuds include with XV3, I-13, rolling 30s, 40s, 50s, 70s, LCG, RAC, IVC, MAGC, HTFGC, and all the other block Crip, Avenue Crips, and neighborhood Crips, and Mafia Crip gangs. Okay, some very famous individuals from these sets. Obviously, Frosty the Snowman, the real life Team Rocket, Scheme, Munchie B, Philly B, Rally B, Smiley B, White John, Lil Deuce 3400. Okay, they deep. They roll very, very deep. Now, the neighborhood Crips of the rolling 60s up here, they are very, very, very infamous. Okay, and the younger generation, also known as School Gang. This is the largest black gang in the county by membership, and also home to rapper Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. Their hood consists of 4 different cliques: Overhill, aka Back Hood, the Avenues, Front Hood, and Dime Block. Though mostly RSC activity is based near the row of apartments, so RSC being Rolling 60 Crip, row of apartment buildings along Bringhurst Avenue, they have many enemies, the main ones being 8 Trey Gangster Crip, the VNGB and the Inglewood Family Gangster Bloods, IFGB, and the Hoover Gangs historically. Until a decade ago, they were allied with the Rolling 40s, but they've since become rivals too. Ironically, in recent years, the 60s' main reputation in the city has been infighting amongst themselves, as several internal incidents between different cliques and individuals has led to dozens of violent incidents and homicides between members, including LA legend Nipsey Hussle himself outside of his own storefront where he got killed in 2019. Other beefs with the BBS, the HPB, the NHC, 51 TGC, 52 HGC, 73 GC, 74 HGC, 83 HGC, 99 MC, and all other Blood, Brim, Hoover, and Gangster Crip gangs. Their most famous rappers and members, of course, include Big U, Corrupt, Nipsey Hussle, Jay Stone, Pac-Man the Gunman, Conrad from the Abs, Kobe Supreme, Wood Blue, Brick Baby, Brick, Brinhurst Baby, Don Benelli, New Jack, U-Dog, and Gino 5. Okay, there's been a lot going on between these guys. So in recent days, the wars flared up once again, right? When the Inglewood Family Gangster Bloods, right, put up this video. They put up on social media this video of them allegedly beating the brakes off of a Rolling 60s member with the caption, "First day out, belt to ass." And they would be dissing their dead member called Shady Blue. And this would be pretty vicious. I'm probably not going to be able to show you this. I'm probably going to have to blur this. So I'm going to just cue the blur, right? Sorry that you might have to look this one up on your own time.
We'll be taking the match ball
appropriate for YouTube. But I'm going to watch this. I'm going to let you know what happens.
Here's the replay, and it's so impressive how quickly they go from back to front. And then as soon as Dembele's through on goal, they're confident that he's going to finish. He opts for power, and he just flies into the back of the net.
Onto Rafinha. The ball lost by Spartans. Rafinha.
So that was extremely vicious, right? And during that, they were also shouting Derby Park, which is another set. I'll tell you more about in a minute, but they also said we beat your bitch up. So I guess they beating up the female too, which is just you know, horrendous, to be honest, horrible attack. People saying that kick to the face, really held in his face, stepped up. And welcome to gangbanging, that stripes right there. And so how did you get the name Big Face Kick? Funny story, actually. That's how it goes in the streets. People saying this is the beef is on fire. Okay, said dudes pulled up dressed like Dean and AB. I thought this was a prison beatdown in the first few sets. This then was down, Kirk got hooked in his hair, pulled his girl got beat up too. We've had to get the strap after this one. Saying why everybody got swept because it's coordinated hits. So they gym, you know, kitchen Crips, they gym Crips. So why is she crying and saying get up when 3 dudes are stomping on him? How does she not see what's going on, bitch? Call the police. Damn, run and keep running. They're saying shit crazy. They even attacked her. Oh, I didn't hear that. I just know that I heard the guy tell her to shut up and she shut up. I was like, I know that's right. But damn, my thoughts and prayers go out to her. They did say that they beat the woman up as well, which is horrible. Sent a kick to the face was serious. Saying where the F the dude's guns be at? You gangbanging with no gun, you just asking for it. So it looked like he got caught somewhere he was comfortable at. So it's California, people are scared to get caught with a gun at Texas or Florida. It's crazy. Okay, they're saying this looks like the Empire Motel right off of Florence near Crenshaw. They're fearless if they fell off in there, the 60 there and drove sometime. So here's the thing, right? It's an Empire Motel right off Florence near Crenshaw. So Florence is obviously the borderline, right? So they're saying that this is the motel right on this intersection, basically Florence Ave, Crenshaw Boulevard. So this is right at the border. This is the front line of this gang war, realistically. This is a gang beat, straight front line. I would not want to be anywhere. This is a PSA to everybody out there in LA. This little stretch of land here is a no-go zone right now. Do not go here. Do not be around here. This is absolutely the last place you would want to be. Don't get caught up leaving that SoFi Stadium thinking it's sweet, having a walk down Crenshaw, trying to see a Nipsey mural. Do not go here. PSA, do not go here, okay? So, sort of during that whole, during that whole kind of, very vicious, back and forth, or whatever you want to call it, okay? They actually did mention, Derby Park. So Derby Park is kind of the main hangout and ground zero area for Englewood family gangster blood. The last 5 decades of the Beat Tape, 92nd and Crenshaw Boulevard. While a well-kept, scenic and family-oriented park at face value, it overlooks the SoFi Stadium from a hill. Derby Park is notoriously known as one of the most dangerous parks in the county. And on the west side, several incidents have resulted in both rival gang members and civilians being murdered here in recent years and past decades, giving it the reputation of a place you probably should only visit if you're Englewood family gangster blood affiliated or a non-affiliate that's from Englewood and familiar with the area. Okay, so they got pictures and Google Maps of the park.
A well-taken goal. And
you notice the blood, right? Just straight red tarmac, alright? They even got pickleball over there. I would not want to play in this park.
At Ping, we look for inspiration outside of golf. Curiosity has always been a part of our culture because when strokes differ, design should too. Introducing Ping Scottsdale Tech Putters.
Oh, what a wonderful challenge!
At Citizens Private Bank, we believe your attention is best spent on your passion. That's why we dedicate our attention to your financial life.
Federico Valverde. On to Dembele.
Any time of day. And this is right by the stadium. They say this overlooks the SoFi Stadium, but this is not a place to be right now, okay? Listen, see the SoFi Stadium. That might be the last thing you see, even the trees blow. Okay, that might be the last thing you see if you pop up over there. You want to go see a little soccer game. Do not go here. Definitely do not go here. Not the place to be right now, right? The parking for the stadium right there, and the spot where you might lose your life is just over here. So please be very, very careful. Right, I'll be real with you. Please be very, very careful around this whole area, okay? It's right by the SoFi. And I'll keep it real with you. A lot of these gangbangers that you're seeing in these videos, I'm not doing any disrespect at all. But you guys need to be careful because you're causing chaos and starting a gang war right down the street from the World Cup. A lot of gangbangers talking about you don't play with my money. SoFi and FIFA International do not play about their money. They will lock you up for 100 years if you play with their money. So I would suggest everybody involved in this to be a little bit careful about what they're doing. So obviously, when they were beating that guy up, they won't just shout out
How are you doing?
Saying,
you sure?
Shady Blue.
You're not behaving, are you?
There's a lot of different Shady Blues.
No, you're not.
You've
been a bad girl.
You've been a bad Reddit, this is one of Nipsey Hussle's right-hand men.
Put it down. You like that thing too much. Put it down.
2009 song Strap, where he basically shouts out Shady Blue.
You know about Spider-Man.
He says,
that he's a boy.
Slawson, N-word, I bet you get banged on.
What's the name of Spider-Man
I'm
girlfriend?
going to read more of this, right? I'm going to read more of this, because this...
What's the name of Spider-Man girlfriend?
This whole verse, low-key, it kind of makes sense.
What is her name?
You know nothing about Spider-Man.
Okay, what is her name?
I'm not going to tell you.
Look, I'm not as stupid as y'all.
If you know, tell me. If you know. If you know, tell me.
That's all you can find out.
If you know, tell me.
Nah.
If you know. You don't know. So why tell me that if I know? You don't know.
Because I know you don't know.
I know.
Feds front on my spot. I'm running out the back door. Right?
Setting up the chance.
Shady Blue.
I know.
That is definitely historic and respected when it comes to the big Crips. But according to Reddit, okay, these names been brought up in a lot of different situations.
So good.
Okay.
I like the one.
Good
Can you buy
defending.
me
Just
one?
is looking threatening.
Was hey.
Why Nipsey stopped talking about him.
Coming
Can you
away
buy
they
me
go.
a what?
Shady's name ended up
Breakaway
in
has
paperwork
now
dealing with a
been
murder.
broken.
Nip says
Yeah.
Shady's name in a song called
Can
Strip.
you buy me a what?
Okay.
You talk too much.
So it's there.
Jesus.
Fine.
Saying West West
I am
Ham
a Catholic
the
boy.
Bible can't well turn up there right now because wishing he stopped crazy
Handy
stuff.
position now
To
for a
prove
late
that
winner.
straight up. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to say that in case
That's where it ends.
that's offensive, but I don't even know what that means. Okay. But yeah, it's a serious person. Okay, but there's different Shady Blues, so I don't know exactly who they was dissing, but they was
Today
dissing
is
Shady Blues.
Monday.
Okay, there's also
Given
Tiny
away
Shady
by
Blue,
Spartans.
aka
I
Shady
like
Blue
your little
4.
tiger.
Okay,
I mean,
different Shady
your
Blues
little
out
lion.
here.
This is Tiny and Infant Shady Blue, that's an ugly sight, alright?
I like him.
Listen, I'm not telling you anyone's an ugly sight, I'm just saying this is what's out here, this is what's going on, this is what's being posted. Infant Shady Blue unfortunately died in a car crash in
Well, it's so
November
difficult to
2020.
hear anything in here
It's
now.
kind of a look
The
back
news
story.
level's
The Tiny
certainly
Shady
gone
Blue
up, and
paying
there's
tribute to
still
Infant
time for a
Shady
winner.
Blue
You
on the
just
day after
feel
he
the
passed away.
fans know
Said
it.
this shit crazy B, but you beat death 3K times.
Promising attack, but only to a point.
Laying in that bed with them
Well, look
bullets
at the
in your
room
body,
they've
just
got to
out
attack
like that,
now.
because I'll punch the part ways finally. You already know how we
Beautifully
rock.
weighted
We did the
ball.
unthinkable
And
together.
I'm afraid that's
We
where
stayed
it
down
ends for
for it
them.
all, being at the lowest of the low, and now we was up and having it our way, like really no worries B. Until we meet again, shit's
Could be a chance to win the game here.
You know we had it rolling. We love the pack, 3K amigos for life. Scanless, Shady,
Good pass, good chance.
SIP, Shady Blues. So,
This for the match. And there it is.
Tiny would
He's
also get
doubled up for the
tattoo
day.
on his forehead the same day that said Shady Blue 5. So this is how serious they reckon the Shady Blue.
If we watch this again, his movement is good as it has been all game. And although you'd expect him to finish it, he's still got to keep his cool, which he certainly did.
Now this is the vigil for Infant
And
with
that
the whole
is
gang
the
there.
final
So,
blast.
you know,
Not the result that the
basically,
visiting
Shady Blue,
fans were
as
hoping
Shady Blue
for.
5
What
was,
did you make of it all?
he was beloved by the members, okay? Unfortunately, Infant Shady Blue passed away in November 2020, and then Tiny Shady Blue actually passed away the following year on April 2021, and allegedly, reportedly, the Inglewood family Gangster Bloods may well have been responsible for this, okay? He actually, I believe, maybe it was after